Welcome to our Immigration Briefing program, where we delve into the pressing issues and inspiring stories surrounding immigration today. First up, we're taking a closer look at the Yonge Hill Immigration Detention Centre in Western Australia, which has been labelled no longer fit for purpose in a scathing report by the Australian Human Rights Commission. Concerns about safety, increased violence, and inadequate facilities have sparked a call for urgent reforms. In a lighter vein, we share the uplifting journey of a 64-year-old man who, feeling invisible post-retirement, embarked on a new career as a male model. This tale is not just about personal transformation but also highlights the societal need to re-evaluate the value and contributions of older individuals. Lastly, we're tracking the shift in the U.S. migrant crisis from Texas to California, amidst a backdrop of political debates and policy challenges. This shift underlines the evolving nature of immigration issues and the need for adaptive strategies. Stay tuned for the detailed coverage on these stories. Please continue watching for more in-depth information. In a world where headlines often paint a picture of gloom, two stories stand out for their call to action and a tale of unexpected transformation. The Australian Broadcasting Corporation recently shed light on a concerning situation at the Yonge Hill Immigration Detention Centre in Western Australia. According to a scathing report by the Australian Human Rights Commission, the facility is deemed no longer fit for purpose, a conclusion drawn from the unsettling feedback of the majority of detainees and staff who expressed feelings of unsafety. The investigation unveiled a troubling environment marred by increased violence, bullying, and drug trafficking. The report didn't just highlight issues, it offered a roadmap to redemption with 33 recommendations aimed at transforming the detention center into a place that prioritizes the welfare and rehabilitation of detainees. These recommendations include decommissioning inadequate compounds, revising staffing levels, and enhancing counseling services. The Department of Home Affairs has shown a willingness to change, accepting most of the recommendations, which signals a hopeful future where immediate action could rectify the center's dire conditions. Across the globe, the UK's approach to addressing the issue of small boat crossings in the English Channel has come under scrutiny. As reported by The Telegraph, Yvette Cooper, the Shadow Home Secretary, criticized the costly and ineffective scheme to relocate asylum seekers to Rwanda, which has seen a mere 1% of its intended transfers actualized, costing taxpayers an astonishing £2 million per person. Cooper argues that this approach distracts from more pressing and effective solutions, such as bolstering border security and enhancing international cooperation to dismantle criminal smuggling networks. Her perspective underscores the need for pragmatic and humane policies to manage migration and asylum-seeking processes. In a lighter vein, The Telegraph also brings us an inspiring story of reinvention that challenges societal perceptions of retirement. A 64-year-old man, after retiring from his office furniture business, embarked on an unexpected journey into the world of modeling. Feeling invisible and anxious about his new phase of life, he stumbled upon an article that sparked a daring idea. With determination, he sent his photos to modeling agencies and quickly found success, now represented across several countries and working with big-name brands. This heartwarming tale not only highlights the potential for personal growth at any age but also calls for a societal shift in how we value and perceive the contributions of older individuals. These stories, while diverse in their themes, share a common thread of advocating for change and challenging the status quo. From the pressing need for reform in immigration detention practices in Australia to the critique of inefficient asylum policies in the UK, and the inspiring personal transformation of a new retiree, each narrative invites us to reconsider our approaches to complex issues and personal potential. They remind us that with urgent action, thoughtful policy, and a bit of courage, positive change is within reach, and new chapters can be written at any stage of life. In the vast and bustling Permian Basin of southeastern New Mexico, an intricate dance of man and nature unfolds as oil and gas workers, many of whom are immigrants, including those without legal status in the United States, toil under the harsh sun to extract the precious resources buried deep beneath the Earth's surface. This revelation, uncovered by a USA Today investigation and reported by Yahoo US, paints a vivid picture of the complexities and contradictions at the heart of America's energy sector. These workers, drawn to the dangerous and difficult jobs of the fracking industry, find themselves in a precarious position, caught between the Trump administration's promises to drill, baby, drill, and its vows to deport immigrants who have entered the U.S. without authorization. The potential deportation of these vital workers looms as a specter over the industry, with companies fearing that such actions could disrupt or even collapse the thriving oil patch that powers much of the nation's energy needs. Meanwhile, the strength of the U.S. dollar is surging, reaching its highest level since early November, as reported by CNN. This rally is primarily driven by the robustness of the American economy, with recent data showcasing continued consumer spending, a solid job market, and an expanding manufacturing sector. This economic resilience allows the Federal Reserve to maintain interest rates at a 23-year high, a strategy aimed at stabilizing prices while maximizing employment. However, this financial fortitude comes with its own set of challenges, including signs that inflation's cooling may have stalled, with rising gas prices and stubbornly high housing costs contributing to persistent inflationary pressures. This complex economic landscape underscores the delicate balance between fostering growth and controlling inflation, a task that becomes increasingly complicated in a globalized economy. The juxtaposition of these narratives, from the struggles of immigrant workers in the oil fields of New Mexico to the macroeconomic forces shaping the US dollar's strength, and the philosophical underpinnings of a principled conservative outlook, paints a multifaceted picture of America today. It is a nation grappling with the tensions between economic ambitions and social responsibilities, between the pursuit of growth and the imperative to protect and uplift all members of society, regardless of their origins or status. In this intricate tapestry of challenges and aspirations, the stories of individuals and communities converge, weaving together a narrative of a country at a crossroads, striving to reconcile its ideals with the realities of a rapidly changing world. In a world where the allure of golden visas and the struggle for citizenship paint a complex picture of global migration, countries like Spain, Japan, and India are at the forefront of reshaping policies that impact lives across borders. The New York Times reports a significant shift in Spain's approach to attracting foreign investment through its Golden Visa program. Initially launched to buoy the country's economy amidst the Eurozone crisis, Spain is now scrapping the scheme that allowed wealthy foreigners to gain residency by purchasing real estate. This decision comes in response to the program's unintended consequences, such as inflating housing prices and contributing to a housing crisis, affecting local Spaniards' ability to afford homes. This move marks a critical reassessment of how countries balance economic incentives with the well-being of their citizens. Meanwhile, the plight of Pakistani women stranded in Indian-administered Kashmir highlights a different aspect of international migration and citizenship laws. According to the South China Morning Post, approximately 350 women who married former Kashmiri militants find themselves in a legal limbo, unable to return to Pakistan or acquire Indian citizenship. These women, who moved to Pakistan during the insurgency in the 1990s and later returned to Kashmir under a rehabilitation policy, now face a life of uncertainty and hardship. The Indian government's Citizenship Amendment Act, which grants nationality to persecuted minorities from neighboring countries but explicitly excludes Muslims, further complicates their situation. These women's appeals to the government for deportation back to Pakistan underscore the complex interplay of national policies, religious identities, and individual lives caught in the crossfire of geopolitical tensions. On a more hopeful note, Japan is taking steps to address the status of foreign children born within its borders who lack residency status. Nikkei Asia reports that Japan's Immigration Services Bureau is granting special permission to stay to these children and their families as part of a broader reform of the country's immigration and refugee recognition laws. This policy change aims to provide a more stable and secure life for children who, despite being born and raised in Japan, have lived in a legal gray area. By extending rights and freedoms, including access to public health insurance and lifting travel restrictions, Japan is acknowledging the importance of integrating these young residents into society fully. The move has been welcomed by advocates, though there are calls for further expansion of the policy to include older individuals and those who arrived in Japan at a young age. These stories from Spain, India-administered Kashmir, and Japan illustrate the diverse challenges and approaches nations take in managing migration, citizenship, and residency. From economic strategies and humanitarian concerns to legal reforms, the evolving landscape of global migration policies reflects the ongoing struggle to balance national interests with the rights and well-being of individuals crossing borders in search of a better life. As countries continue to navigate these complex issues, the impact on affected individuals and communities remains at the heart of the debate, prompting a re-evaluation of what it means to belong in an increasingly interconnected world. In an era where immigration debates often boil down to statistics and policy proposals, voices calling for empathy and understanding emerge as beacons of hope. The Sydney Morning Herald recently highlighted the plea of the coalition's assistant multicultural spokesman, Paul Scar, who is advocating for a more compassionate approach to the contentious issue of Labour's deportation bill in Australia. Scar's impassioned call to consider the real-world consequences of such legislation on young, working individuals in multicultural communities serves as a reminder that behind every policy, there are human lives at stake. He emphasizes the distress and trauma that could be inflicted on vulnerable populations, urging his fellow politicians to reflect on the broader impact of their decisions. Meanwhile, across the Pacific, the BBC reports a significant shift in the U.S. migrant crisis from Texas to California, signaling a broader geographical and political challenge. The surge in illegal border crossings has not only strained resources in border states but has also catapulted immigration to the forefront of political discourse. In San Isidro, south of San Diego, the staggering 85% increase in crossings compared to the previous year underscores the urgent need for comprehensive immigration reform. This shift is attributed to both the Texas governor's aggressive crackdown on illegal migration and tightened security by Mexican authorities. The resulting pressure on California's infrastructure and resources illuminates the complex dynamics at play, challenging communities and policymakers alike to navigate the humanitarian and security dimensions of immigration. The political ramifications of the migration crisis are profound, with immigration ranking as a top concern among voters in several battleground states. The polarizing issue has seen former President Donald Trump criticize the Biden administration for its handling of the U.S.-Mexico border, attributing a bloodbath to the current president's policies. Trump's focus on building barriers during his tenure, contrasted with Biden's attempts to manage illegal crossings through technological solutions, highlights the divergent strategies employed by different administrations. However, the continued influx of migrants and the tragic increase in drowning deaths near the barriers near San Diego reveal the limitations and consequences of these approaches. In Canada, the CBC reports a heartening development in the case of Zane Hack, a climate justice activist facing deportation to Pakistan. The Canadian Immigration Authority's decision to temporarily halt Hack's deportation, following an outpouring of support from the community, underscores the power of collective action and advocacy. Hack's involvement in nonviolent civil disobedience against fossil fuel projects had drawn scrutiny to his study permit, yet the swift reversal of the deportation order highlights the importance of community support and the recognition of activists' contributions to public discourse on critical issues such as climate change. Each of these stories, from the call for empathy in Australia's immigration debate to the shifting challenges of the U.S. migrant crisis and the successful campaign to halt a climate activist's deportation in Canada, underscores the multifaceted nature of immigration issues. Behind the policies and political debates lie individuals and communities grappling with the consequences of these decisions. As nations around the world navigate the complexities of immigration, the calls for empathy, understanding, and community support serve as crucial reminders of the human dimension underlying these global challenges. In the realm of politics and healthcare, the challenges and proposed solutions can often seem like a mirage, promising much but delivering little. This sentiment is vividly captured in recent discussions around the Reform UK Party's ambitious manifesto and the innovative approaches to healthcare in Canada, as outlined by Dr. Arvind Koshal. According to a critique in The Telegraph, the Reform UK Party, with its eye-catching promises of zero NHS waiting lists, more police, civil service reform, an end to illegal immigration, and lower taxes, appears to be a beacon of hope for many disillusioned voters. The party's agenda includes cutting corporation tax, fuel duty, and VAT, while increasing thresholds for income tax and inheritance tax. However, the author argues that these promises, while appealing, lack a solid foundation in reality, particularly in how they would be funded. The piece suggests that the support for Reform UK is more a statement of dissatisfaction with mainstream politics than a belief in the party's ability to deliver on its promises. The article contrasts the Tories' constraints with Reform UK's freedom to make bold claims, concluding that a split on the right could inadvertently keep Labour in power for an extended period. Meanwhile, in Canada, the Toronto Star sheds light on the dire situation facing many temporary residents, illustrating the lengths to which individuals will go to secure permanent residency. The federal government's scoring system, based on personal attributes such as age, education, and language proficiency, has left many high-scoring candidates at a disadvantage. In their desperation, some candidates resort to bribing for job offers to boost their scores. The focus of abuse allegations is the Labor Market Impact Assessment, LMIA, a process that verifies the necessity of hiring a foreign worker. Despite efforts to audit and check compliance, the sheer volume of job vacancies, 700,000 across Canada, makes it challenging to distinguish genuine job offers from fraudulent ones. This situation highlights the systemic issues within Canada's immigration system, where the pursuit of a better life pushes individuals into morally gray areas. On a more positive note, Dr. Arvind Koshal's memoir, as featured in the Toronto Star, presents a beacon of hope in the healthcare sector. Dr. Koshal's innovative approach to reducing wait times for heart surgery in Edmonton is a testament to the power of prioritizing patient care and seeking practical solutions. By increasing the number of surgeries performed each day and introducing an early discharge program, Dr. Koshal managed to reduce the waiting list to just 10 days. His story underscores the importance of innovation in healthcare and the potential to significantly improve patient outcomes through dedication and reform. These narratives, from the political landscape of the UK to the immigration challenges in Canada and the healthcare innovations in Edmonton, reflect a common theme: the quest for improvement and the obstacles that stand in the way. Whether it's the allure of ambitious political promises, the desperation of temporary residents seeking a better life, or the innovative approaches to healthcare, each story highlights the complexities of navigating systems in need of reform. The solutions, while not always straightforward, point to the necessity of realistic planning, ethical considerations, and innovative thinking in addressing the pressing issues of our time. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.